What's going on, everybody? We are back with our Elite Eight reveal to get to the Final Four, and she's back, everyone. After a week hiatus, Steph is back, ready to go, refreshed from her time up in Wisconsin and ready to get after it. But let's talk real quick. How was your trip? What'd you guys do? Tell us all about it.
Lots of family time, which was great, and lots of humidity. So lots of sweating and remembering why I love the dry desert.
Okay.
So
Even
we got
115?
off the plane. We got off the plane here, and it's like what 120? No, it was like 107 that day. But we got off the plane, and it was like, oh, this is refreshing to not be instantly sweating with all the humidity. So I do love
I
it.
look at it like it's so hot here right now, but I can
Yeah.
only imagine what it's like with the humidity. So that would be tough.
Yeah, but hey, kudos and shout out to Cowboy Ryan because
Yes.
I did get to watch. I watched the end of the stream, and then Dan and I, when we got home that night, we went and watched the replay. So we watched the whole 30 minutes of it, and what a great fill-in he was. I felt a little like,
That seat is always your seat. But no, Ryan did a great job.
He did a great job.
Yeah, and I was surprised. I figured he would do even a little bit more singing. So if we ever have him back on in a try host situation, we'll have to kind of get a little singing out. You get the true Cowboy Ryan that not everybody got to witness.
I did find myself yelling or wanting to yell at the phone, though. He and I have very different tastes, except Backstreet Boys. I was shocked that he was such a Backstreet Boys fan, but I was just like, what do you mean? And so it was interesting to watch the stream instead of participate in it, because I found myself like wanting to throw popcorn at Cowboy Ryan a couple of times.
Oh, there was a lot with the votes that were in, and with Bruce Springsteen losing and the E Street Band losing, the Stark household was in flux for about 4 days in that scenario. So yeah, there was a lot of yelling at the screen from lots of people on that. But yeah, it was a lot of surprises last week. Ryan did a great job. But yeah, it was fun. But it's good to have the band back together again. Yes, absolutely. Welcome back. It was fun. And like I said, maybe we'll do a situation where we do a try host maybe for for a little bit in like maybe the championship or something, just to kind of let you guys meet. But yeah, it was fun. But good to have the band back together a little bit, and let's get into it because we got lots of fun things. So as we talked about before,
real shockers tonight. I want you to know.
What's that?
There's going to be some shockers tonight.
Yeah, well, there were shockers last week,
yeah.
So this is where we're at. So we got Boston beating John Denver, and then of course Chicago beating Whitney Houston. So we had this Boston-Chicago matchup we'll talk about. Alabama versus Flo-Rida. You have Earth, Wind, and Fire versus Bruno Mars, and then the Backstreet Boys, and just I'm shocking is the best way to put it. Disheartening.
Yeah, I was shocked.
Yeah. And then Little River Band, which we all know James is pulling hard for, is going against Backstreet Boys. So, let's kind of get into it a little bit. And I agree, John. I agree, Dan. I agree. I was a little frustrated by that one, but hey, you know what? As we said before, that's why you vote. So let's move on to our first bracket, which is the cities bracket, which we just talked about, which is all the way down. This is, as we talked about before, like a super, super tough bracket going all the way down. Whitney Houston losing to Chicago, John Denver losing to Boston. And so now we are at Boston versus Chicago.
I feel like this is an NBA, wasn't this an NBA finals?
Yeah, many times. Well, not a final, but it was like basically an NBA conference final. This is the Eastern
They're in the
Conference.
same.
But yes, a lot of Boston versus Chicago, baseball, basketball, football. Yeah, football. I guess it'd be New England. But anywho, definitely an NBA matchup. Bulls versus Celtics type deal. So we're back to the montages today. And us, we're gonna do the montages a little bit. So let's
now,
see
Chris,
who wins. Yeah.
Who did you vote for?
I voted for Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah, I voted for Chicago. Boston, though fantastic, was a little ahead of my time. So I went with my Chicago kind of genre. I mean, that was me. That was me from like 10 to 20. Like that my teenage years was Chicago. So that was super. So that's what I went with. Who'd you go with?
I also did Chicago for a lot of the same I knew more of their songs.
Yes.
I guess.
Yeah.
And so when the montages were created this time, I tried to do like a mix up of several of their best songs. So all the people that make it through, or all the bands that make it through, you'll hear about a minute of like the greatest hits, so to speak.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, awesome. What do we got here? 40 late 60s, Chicago Transit Authority.
Because Chicago they were Chicago Transit Authority before they were Chicago. The music aficionado there, he knows.
Yes, yeah. Mine Chicago was definitely the Peter Cetera, less bandy, big band, more just poppy Chicago.
More long distance dedications.
Yeah, again, I've talked about a lot of Delilah in my youth. I went to sleep a lot. This is a little 𝐒𝐞𝐚𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬. Let's get to it. The winner between Boston and Chicago is. There it is. Chicago takes it.
Everybody needs a little time away. I heard it say from each other.
Look at all these songs.
You know our love was meant to be.
And this is the Chicago that I know with that Peter Cetera, that really unique sounding voice.
And I want you here with me.
A lot of 8th grade dance in this one.
Oh.
Now, what movie does this come from? Do you remember?
If you leave it now,
This was early Chicago.
the biggest part of me.
Yeah.
Okay, so my trivia question. Ooh, that's not what I want. There we go. So our winner was Chicago, but my trivia question was simply Gloria Love. What soundtrack was that on?
I cannot think, like, it's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't come up with it.
Oh boy.
It's good. It's like it's a big one too. It's a big movie.
It was a big 80s movie.
So somebody, IT department, get on that.
What?
Put
Do
in
you
the
want
chat.
help?
Yeah, do you know what it is?
I do, actually.
Oh, you do? Okay, tell me. Okay, can you give me a clue?
Yeah. That was not the big thing. No.
Oh my God.
That is Karate Kid.
Karate
Kid. Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you know the percentage on this one?
I would love to know the percentage. I had the percentages last week. I felt so powerful.
Oh, it wasn't a surprise for you. So
no, it wasn't right.
The Chicago won by 88%. So
holy Lord.
I did not expect it to be that much of a landslide, truly.
No, that's surprising. No, that's super surprising.
So,
but I agree with the votes.
Same.
Yeah. So now Chicago makes it through to the Final Four, And I guess the biggest question is who are they going to be playing?
Who are they gonna
And it's
face?
going to be the winner of Alabama Flo-Rida, who Alabama beat Kansas while you were gone in a great college basketball matchup. And Florida Georgia Line versus Florida, the Battle of Florida. Flo-Rida takes it, and now we've hit Alabama Flo-Rida for the Battle of the States. And who did you pick for this one?
Well, I am not a country music fan. And so Flo-Rida was my choice on this. And he's got a lot of hits, Chris. And I think I don't know. I know Alabama does too. So I think it's a genre thing on this one.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Dan. Absolutely. It's a great college football matchup. I went with Alabama on this one. I like all kinds of genres of music, and country is one of them. But yeah,
No.
Alabama is just iconic. But I get it. Flo-Rida has some great songs. I mean, we all know who Shorty is now because of Flo-Rida. So I mean, that's cool.
This one was the closest of all the matches.
What was okay? Tell me the percentages first.
Okay, so the winner of this one had 56%.
Ooh, it was close.
So like it was every vote mattered on this one.
Okay, this one was close. And the winner to move on to the Final Four is
Can you blow my whistle, baby, let me know. Girl, I'm gonna show you how to do it, and we start real slow. Hear a knock on the door and the night begins. Cause we've done this before, so you come on in. Make yourself at my home, tell me where you been. Pour yourself something cold, baby, cheers to this.
Sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. That I never had before. No, I get a good feeling, yeah. Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling.
and then you end with the bang. Let's picture you dancing. Yeah, just the image of you and Dan dancing to that. And the winner is Flo-Rida. I vehemently disagree with this, but that doesn't matter. The votes are the votes. And this is a big upset here. I did not see this coming at all. You did. So props to you for picking this winner here.
Flo-Rida, excuse me. I think he got kind of ripped off with a 7 seed. And maybe it wouldn't have turned out this way if he was seeded differently. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think eventually it gets to this. I mean, at the end of the day. Yeah, and I've always wondered, Dan, what are apple bottom jeans? I need to see.
It's a brand of jeans, apple bottom.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, and the pocket has a little apple on it.
You know what? This not only is
boots with fur. You got any of those?
It's also entertainment. I learned. It's educational and entertainment. I learned a little bit. I had no idea that was a type of jeans.
Yep.
All right, Flo-Rida moves on, and they are taking on who just won before? My gosh, my memory is so bad.
Chicago.
Jeez,
It's going to be Chicago and Flo-Rida.
I know. Crazy.
Whoa.
Yes, that's what we're doing here. We're educating people as well. Okay, we've hit the third bracket. And then we have our continents / outer space planets, and we definitely gone with the planets.
I have to say, this was where I was popcorn throwing last week when Ryan was really down on Bruno Mars. Like, how did he get a number 2 seed? Bruno Mars is like a major entertainer. And he was like, how, you know, that 2 seed, he really slipped in there. Like, no, he earned that 2 seed.
Now, this is where I'm going to push back a little bit. If Bruno Mars is in the cities bracket, he's a 6 seed.
So you think because it's a weaker bracket?
100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think he's a 2 seed because I think this is a much weaker bracket. I think that cities bracket was ridiculously hard. I think any one of those top 4 could have came out of it. And I think the states one is now, and then, but yeah, I mean, I'm not knocking Bruno Mars. I think he's a tremendous artist, but I also think he was allowed a 2 seed, just like I don't think Earth, Wind, and Fire is a 1 seed in another bracket either.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna. I think the same thing with both this.
And again, I think this comes down to the genre of music. Those that voted, what are they listening to?
100%. Yeah,
And
I agree.
so, you know, when you look at Alabama Flo-Rida, we have either younger group or a more contemporary group of voters.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. And so we are at Earth, Wind, and Fire, who's basically just kind of steamrolled through everybody. And Bruno Mars, who I think has definitely had a tougher matchup. But let's see. Oh, before we do that, percentages.
Percentages. The winner was 63%, which is shocking to me because I did expect it to be a little bit closer.
Okay. All right. Let's see who won.
Put your pinky rings up to the moon.
That's Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Girls, what y'all trying to do? 24 karat magic in the air. What you don't understand is I catch a grenade for ya. Throw my hand on a blade for ya. I jump in front of a train for ya. You know I do anything for ya. Jump in the Cadillac, girl, let's put some miles on it. Anything you want, just to put a smile on it. You deserve it, baby, you deserve it all. And I'm gonna give it to you. Gucci, styling, wildin', living it up in the city. Got Chuck's on with Saint Laurent. Gotta kiss myself, I'm so pretty. I'm too hot. Call the police and the fireman, I'm too hot. Make a dragon wanna retire, man, I'm too hot.
All right. And the winner is Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars.
Look at that. With 63% of the vote. Yeah, and again, I'm not anti Bruno Mars. I don't love him. I went with Earth, Wind, and Fire on this one, but more again, and we talked about it. This was the hard part. Is like, are you voting for an iconic song that they sing, or are you voting for the artist and the catalog of the artist? And I think I kind of went more with the fun, you know, Earth, Wind, and Fire, a couple songs that I know that I like a lot more than the Bruno Mars one. But I get it. 63% of the population that voted could be wrong. It's fine. I'm not. I've come to grips with that a long time ago.
As soon as Trans-Siberian Orchestra was boosted
Okay.
out.
You know, since you watched the episode, I'm not done with that. You know, since the episode last week, and you listened to that, I think they got a bum rap. I think the montage hurt them. I think it was a conspiracy at the highest level to try to get them out of there. To be quite honest with you.
Oh, and perhaps that I don't know.
James, I should be talking about all the Bruno Mars fans, and I'm with you, brother. I'm with you.
I know I would venture to say he's an Earth, Wind, and Fire man over Bruno.
Right, James.
If I was a betting gal, that's what I would bet.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe he'll let us know. But Bruno Mars wins. They are moving on to the next round, and now we have our last Elite Eight matchup, which is our potpourri matchup. Which this is good. This is surprising. Wow.
Nice.
Well, James, that's the end of that for you. Don't need to post that anymore.
This is his here. His
Okay,
match.
yeah, this is his baby. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I think if Little River Band loses to Backstreet Boys,
We may lose
then-
a viewer like for life.
yeah, I think he's done with the stream, just like my wife is boycotting.
But here we got to look at how I feel like this is trending, Chris. So Alabama versus Flo-Rida, you have the more current, right? Flo-Rida wins. Earth, Wind, and Fire, Bruno Mars, more current wins. Now we've got Backstreet Boys, Little River Band. Like, are we following that trend?
God, I hope not.
So we've got Ryan's favorite, which what did he was like a rump. He was shaking his rump or something.
He does it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So he likes the Backstreet Boys. And
He's the original rump shaker.
this one, the winner won with a percentage of 94%.
Oh my Lord.
So like it was not even close. So again, is it the genre? Is it the decade? Or is it just really good music? What are we voting for?
Well, if it's really good music, it's definitely not the Backstreet Boys.
Okay, I have a Backstreet Boys story.
Okay.
Do we have time?
We got all the time in the world.
Okay. So, you know, when you date somebody and you look through their record collection, perhaps. So when Dan and I first started dating, I was looking through his CD collection, and that was still the time of like the Columbia buy for a penny, you know, and you get 26 CDs for a penny. And so I'm going
Time-life music. This is the timeline. This is the shit I've been talking about for the whole time. It's just the 90s episode. Oh, no. Dan doesn't want you to tell the stories.
No. And so we have no CDs in common, right? Like we're going through no CDs in common except one. And it is the Backstreet Boys CD. And I was like, it was like a spit take. Like, whoa, you have the Backstreet Boys? And he comes up with this story about how he thought he was buying Blackstreet. But in reality, he clicked the button for Backstreet Boys. And I was like, bullshit. Just admit you got a Backstreet Boys CD.
See, here's now it's all coming out. Hey, look, I need to keep Dan on payroll, please. So if we can all like lay off Dan a little bit. Here's what I'm going to say for Dan.
Okay.
I think it's an unbelievable veteran move by him because he bought that CD. I don't want to speak for him, but he could have bought that CD going, you know what? These guys are the worst. But you know what? I might need to put this in the collection just to impress that one girl. Just that one little thing might tip the scales for me. Veteran move by Dan. Love where his head was at, and guess what? It paid off. I mean, great person.
It only cost him a penny, you know, for those.
100%. And for the rest of us, that like.
I will say, my father is absolutely correct with Dan with his frosted tips. It was big fan.
Yeah. Well, you know, you've been married for a long time. I get it. I never could pull off the frosted tips except for what I currently have, but they're gray, so there's not much I can do about that. What do we got here? If we bought that CD, we would know where his head was at. Yeah. Amen to that, brother. Yeah. I get this. Dan, you still have hair. You've just decided to cut it shorter. All right. First of all, fantastic story time. I love those.
I've been waiting for that story to be told.
I love it. Well, let's see if Backstreet Boys finally met their match.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We got down to the gate and I was dreaming of the night. Would it turn out right? How to tell you, girl? Look around you. Look up here. Take time to make time to be there. They have a need to rock and roll. They always will. They're out there still.
You know what's so interesting about Little River Band, and props to them for the victory here, is they're kind of one of those bands that you don't realize that the Little River Band sang that song until you like listen to it and like you see it pop up. And you're like, oh, I didn't know they played that song, or I didn't know that was them. I feel like that's a little bit of Little River Band. Like they have a lot of really good songs, but maybe for someone like myself or others, you've heard the song, but you didn't like correlate it with the actual band. So props to them for the victory.
I grew up on Little River Band, and so it was hard for me to pick songs to put in that because they're all like I've been to a lot of concerts in my life, but I've been to more Little River Band concerts than any other band. And so it just because that was a favorite of my parents growing up. And my dad was in musician, and he played Little River Band. Like he would get the guitar out and sing Little River Band. And so that was part of my childhood. So Little River Band maybe was the Backstreet Boys of their time.
Oh, I think they're better than the Boys of their time. My question is, knowing your love of the Backstreet Boys / Dan and Little River Band, who did you vote for?
I did vote for Little River Band, and I felt this pang of guilt as I did it because I love Backstreet Boys. But I think I let nostalgia kind of sway my vote a little bit on that one.
Okay. I respect that. I went with Little River Band, just one out of protest of last week. There was people calling to try to see what was going on with that, but Little River Band was back to yeah, that's what I thought. I thought that was an interesting comment, James. I'm very surprised by that comment. Well, here's where we're at, everybody. Look, we are in the final four. Look at these matchups: Chicago versus Flo-Rida, and Bruno Mars versus Little River Band. Now, again, for you being such a big Bruno Mars fan,
I know.
And then obviously just talking about how you would kill your father's soul by voting against Little River Band.
I know.
Where are you going to go with that side of the bracket?
Here's what I would like to do, Chris, if I might make a suggestion. I would like to shake things up a little bit. And
we're changing the bracket.
I would like the matchup to be corner to corner, if we could. I'd like to see Mars versus Flo-Rida, and then Chicago versus Little River Band.
I would like to lose 20 pounds. But guess what? We don't always get what we want here in this world. No, we're sticking with the bracket. Is the bracket? Look, let me go to the next screen. This is the bracket. This is where we're at. The tech department worked damn hard to put this bracket together, and this is what we're rolling with here.
We just draw a line diagonally, and this is our wacky kind of bracket.
It must be a great world you live in. Just changing things. You know what? I don't like this matchup. I'm changing it. I want to. Let's see. What are two that I don't give a damn about? Oh, the other two. All right. You know what? Yeah. Look, this is another kickball moment. The bracket is the bracket. Okay. Eventually, we're going to need to hear about this story because
that's
I don't know what the kickball moment is.
It's a good story as well. It comes down to my knowledge of sports, Chris.
That's okay.
And it was a real gut punch for Dan when my kickball team beat his kickball team, and I did insist on a rule change. So,
oh boy, I can see where the frustration lies. I'm going to have to go and veto your, though eloquently asked, and I'm going to have to veto that mainly because I have the support of the tech department who have to redo everything, and I don't think he wants to do that. So let's go back to our original question, madam. Bruno Mars versus Little River Band. I mean, do you want to wait a little bit and see?
I can't make a decision on that right now.
Okay. Let's go to the other side. Chicago versus Flo-Rida. old. I don't want to say old school, but 80s, 90s versus more 2000s. What do you got?
I mean, Chicago is probably the better choice, musicianship wise, catalog wise, but Flo-Rida I might be voting for Flo-Rida. I really enjoy Flo-Rida's music, although it's just a few songs versus Chicago. I feel like every Chicago song you hear is a great song, but I feel good when I listen to Flo-Rida.
There you go. Okay. All understandable. I will, well, I mean, I don't want to sway the votes here, but because I won't, by my opinion. But I will absolutely be going with Chicago on this one. I think Chicago's the number one. What do we, more Will comments?
Or Will. Yep.
Murphy gets. I'm assuming Murphy is the cat.
Murphy is the cat.
Yes, yeah. Beautiful. Flo-Rida versus Little River Band in the final. Yeah. Wow. I agree with the Little River Band over Bruno Mars. All right, I'm going to say it, and I think the people need to know about this. I think Bruno Mars is a nice musician. I think he's nice.
Okay.
But I think he's extremely overrated. I think he's a nice musician with some nice songs. But you know, Nickelback has some nice songs too.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra has some nice songs.
Well, I'll tell you about it. If you ever listen to him, you'd be moved. You'd be moved, I'm telling you. But I'm going to go with Chicago and Little River Band is my matchup. That's what I'll be voting for. And then I'm in your boat. Like, I think if it gets to that, then I don't know who I'm voting for. But right now, Chicago is I think, and I like Flo-Rida because I agree with you. Like, it's very peppy and happy and kind of a joy, like, you know, just kind of smile when you listen to his music. It's kind of, I don't want to say silly, but it's just kind of like he's not trying to be the most serious person in the world, which I respect. But man, Peter Cetera in Chicago, and even after Peter Cetera left, and a little, you know, they had a couple of good hits after that. It's fantastic. So, thank you, James. All right, hey, anytime you need someone. What's that?
Maybe you'll get in.
Well, I just want to say, at the end of the day, anyone that, you know, I'm more than willing to step in any will situation if need be, and I could definitely take a smaller percentage than what was being given. Oh boy, see, now I got my own wife.
It's a division of households here. Like this bracket is just dividing.
Though, we should all be happy that my wife is listening after last week's Backstreet Boys East Street Band debacle. I thought there'd be a boycott for at least a good solid season. But super excited. And here's where we're at. Look at this bracket. A filled-in bracket is damn near one of the most beautiful things you can look at. Look at this matchup. So Chicago versus Florida, Bruno Mars versus Little River Band. Let's do, as my dog is barking crazy at this point. Let's go ahead and we want to go ahead and share the screen over here. There we go. All right, so we're at CoStarCombs.com. Dan's about ready to put the link in the bracket as well, but you don't even have to if you want to go right underneath the Get Your Home's Worth, Current Home's Worth is right here in the summer bracket. Click on that. Maybe. Sorry. Internet. There we are. And there is the bracket filled in just perfectly. And that's it. We have two things to vote on. Vote on one, vote on two. Should be simple, fast. You know, do what you got to do. Takes you 15 seconds. Let's try to kind of almost like a will here. Let's try to see if we can get the most votes we've gotten so far in any of our votes. So, Steph, that'll be what we're trying to get here at this point. Let's see if we can get the most votes ever. So we're going to try to share it, get it out there. It only takes a couple seconds. And let's see if we can get, see if we can get over 50. See if we can get over 50 votes this time.
Tweet that out, Chris. Tweet that out.
Yes, we have. Make sure you knock back his. Okay, good. I think Backstreet
I
Boys
can
losing.
feel the bitterness there.
Oh, yeah. There was definitely some bitterness. So, Steph, again, super fun to have you back in the
Thank
fold, back to where you belong, right there, just to the right of me. Let's go ahead and get the votes going. Let's see if we, like I said, let's try to get to as many people, share it, get to as many people as we can. See if we get to 50 votes. See who we can get to go to the final. We're going to be having our stream later this week. We will let the people know. I think it's going to be Friday, but we're going to double check on that because yours truly is going out of town to go see my dad up in Colorado on Saturday. So looking forward to getting out of the heat and going up to see the pops and kind of hang out there for a little bit, which should be super fun.
Love that cool temperature up there.
Oh my gosh. Yes, absolutely. Steph, as always, amazing job. Good to have you back. And we will get these votes in and then we'll see who makes the finals. So until then.
See how our households fare this week as the voting starts.
Yeah, we'll obviously go back and see how we both got through the week with our spouses.
Yeah.
It's a little tough right now. But all right, Steph, have a great rest of the night. Be safe. We'll see you later.